Hey everybody, welcome to Always Bored Never Boring. You may have noticed that recently there hasn't been much in the way of painting videos on the channel. Well, that's mainly because old age is finally starting to catch up with me, and this has happened. Oh, there you are. I've never needed glasses before, but my eyesight has degraded significantly in recent months, and it simply wasn't possible for me to paint in the way I wanted to. Hopefully though, we can get back on track now. I have a lot of painting projects to get on with, and I'm eager to get moving with them. But while I get back into the swing of things, I thought I would take a brief moment to talk about how my Advanced Heroquest project is coming along. As you may know, Advanced Heroquest doesn't ship with much in the way of variety when it comes to miniatures, but the core rules and expansion material contain lots of rules for new enemies and special characters, each of which is represented by a specific Citadel miniature. I thought it might be fun to gradually accumulate all of these miniatures, or at least as many as I could. It's a very expensive process as Oldhammer miniatures sell for stupid money on the secondary market, and it's slow going, but every now and again I pick up another miniature, and when I think I've got enough, I do a quick video to show them off. Today we have a few original Ratmen miniatures, plus a few other miniatures I'm really rather excited to own. First up we have this chap. This is a classic C47 Ratman by Jess Goodwin, called Skree the Slaver. He's got a spiked club and a net, and a very cool spiked eye patch. This miniature, unlike most of the ones I am picking up, doesn't appear, at least as far as I recall, on any of the monster cards for Advanced Heroquest, but it is a Skaven miniature from the period, and very useful nonetheless. More importantly, this was one of the metal Skaven I had back in the 90s when I first played Advanced Heroquest. I only ever had a few of them, but I remember them all vividly, and I am determined to add them all to my collection. But there we go, this was a relatively recent acquisition, came unpainted and in good condition, and is another suitably menacing addition to my Skaven swarm. Next up we have the Skaven Warpfire thrower team. Teams comprise two miniatures, the one holding the gun and the one carrying the barrels of fuel. Sometimes these go up for sale separately, but I managed to grab a C27 flamethrower crew set for around £8, which I was pretty pleased with. This is the gunner, the same miniature depicted on the Warpfire thrower monster card. He's called Skree the Tainted. He has some really lovely details, the little talisman hanging off his tail, the sculpting on the gun itself, really good stuff. The second half of the team is Flem the Fuel Bearer. He isn't depicted on the monster card for the Warpfire team, but the rules for Advanced Heroquest do demand a 2-rat team to operate the gun, and should either of them die, the gun is no longer operational. And this is another really lovely sculpt. You shouldn't really need more than one Warpfire thrower for Advanced Heroquest, but if you did, there is a second crew set with the C22 code. There is even a commander with a pistol type firearm. Next up we have something I'm really excited about. This is the terrifying Ennio Mordini, undead officer of high standing from Citadel's Nightmare Legion, a part of the Regiments of Renown range sculpted by Ali Morrison. The Nightmare Legion is a fantastic set of skeleton warriors, but Ennio and his regimental champion are the two standouts, absolutely packed with character and charm. This miniature appears in the Advanced Heroquest core set monster reference tables as an undead champion, but it was also used to represent Prince Korad in the quest for Sonnaklinga, which, if my rudimentary knowledge of German doesn't fail me, translates to something like Sun Sword. That particular quest appeared in a White Dwarf magazine. I admit I took a bit of a gamble on this miniature. It was fully painted up, not too badly I have to say, and it had a plastic oval shield glued to the left hand. The original miniature had no shield, and when a shield is glued on like that, there is a risk that it may be hiding some defect, a broken or missing arm for example. However, a quick Dettol bath removes all the paint and has the added benefit of weakening superglue, so the shield could be safely removed. And you can see the miniature is fine. Both arms are intact and there is no visible harm. And as an added bonus, I got an original oval plastic shield. That's a nice bonus because original Citadel shields go for silly money on eBay. By the way, this shield does have a hole in it, but the previous owner has glued one of these little bosses into it. I know shield bosses like this came on the sprues for the skeletons in the old Citadel Skeleton Army box, the box that helped me get started with my old Fantasy Battle Undead horde back in the day. That was an amazing box, with enough components to make a unit of cavalry, a unit of archers, a unit of warriors, and a chariot. Thanks to dry brushing, I built and painted most of an army in a weekend. But I digress. I'm not sure if this kind of boss appeared anywhere else, but I see them attached to old Citadel shields all the time. If you don't want them, you can drill them out easily from the back, or sometimes gently pry them off if you weaken the glue enough first. I'm leaving the boss in place until I know what I plan to do with this shield. And our final miniature for today. I've saved the best for last. This is a Chaos Champion, and doesn't he look like an absolute badass? It's another Jess Goodwin design, this time from the 0218 Champions of Chaos line, which has some absolutely gorgeous miniatures in it. I think this was originally designated as a Champion of Khorne, although sometimes it gets affiliated with Slaanesh instead. In 1989, this miniature appeared as Corvus Blood Reaper, Wizard of Chaos in a set of Citadel combat cards, and in Advanced Heroquest he was called a Chaos Sorcerer. He is an absolutely fantastic miniature, and not just because he's throwing up some devil horns with his left hand. To me, he's just a fabulous example of the style and humour of Games Workshop at that time. I admit to having a soft spot for a lot of the old Chaos Warriors and Champions. Thargrim the Dark Lord is my favourite character from Dungeon Quest after all, and I think I will probably paint my Chaos Sorcerer using the same technique I used for Thargrim, which was basically putting coloured tones over silver. Not sure whether to go with green or red yet, but now I can actually see well enough to paint, maybe I will have to make that call sooner rather than later now. And there we go, that's my current crop of miniatures for Advanced Heroquest. I'm still a very long way from even coming close to having a complete set. It's something that I expect to take many years, unless I win the lottery. And as I don't play the lottery, that's probably a long shot. But that's okay, I have more than enough miniatures to paint for now. I'm very behind. And that's it from me for now. Thank you so much for watching. If you've enjoyed this video, please consider pressing the like button. If you really enjoyed this video, please consider subscribing if you don't already do so. And hopefully, I'll see you all again very soon. Bye bye everyone. Bye bye.